In this video, we have some amazing racing action. In Race A, Race B sees me nearly rear-end someone at the chicane of death. And in Race C, well, I nearly rear-end somebody again, but I head to the realms. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gran Turismo weekly race guide here in 2023. Week 29 is an interesting week because we have some quite good races in my opinion. First up, we're at Lago Maggiore West End. I feel like we've been here constantly because the time trial's also at this circuit, so some of you will already know how to do this track. Even so, we're here in a Lancer Evo, which is one of the new cars. And what exactly are we doing here? Well, we're racing 6 laps here at Lago Maggiore West End. It's a grid start with the false start check, so do be careful. And we're on the Comfort Soft tyres. Now, Bop is on, so you can style it, but you can't tune it. So that's just for information for you. If you don't want to do this race, though, make sure you check out those timestamps there and jump to the race that you want to do. Without further ado, though, we are doing this race. Let's jump to it now. Let's have a look at exactly what happens, and you'll get a bit of a guide at the very end. Right, here we go then. What styles have we got there? We've got TCR Chicken Angel in here. We've got a few members of TCR, as always, as we get ready to go. Hodgson there as well. Traction control on one, as always, with these grid starts. As we get ready, hold that handbrake. Oh, Hodgson didn't, but we do, and off we go then. So we get a very good start. A couple of people there suffering with those penalties. Going to go down the inside of Hodgson then as we head towards turn 1, getting a couple of places. And you can see here, down in we go. So a few yellow Evos in there. Yellow, one of my favorite colors, if you hadn't already guessed by the channel logo. And also the fact that most thumbnails are in yellow. Right, through we go then in P7. We survive at turn 1 in Race A, which sometimes is good because we don't always do that, especially last week's one at Fuji. Anyway, heading down towards the left-hander here. We brake a bit early, as does the French driver up ahead. Goes full sideways then as we head into the braking zone. I was a bit scared being on the outside here. As you see, lots of people slowing it down there. We got someone binning it behind us as well. We'll have a look at that in the bloopers. But we actually survived this quite well, to be honest with you. Better than I expected in Daily Race A as we go past Chicken Angel there and up into P6. So we're just fast forwarding a little bit here and getting a bit closer to that racing action then as we go into the right. Now, you do have to lift here for this right-hander most times. The odd time you can do it flat, but it's only when you nail it. Anyway, we look down the inside of the French driver. They give me room there, but they're going to come back across very nicely, try and defend that. Unfortunately, they understeer off then, so I knew they would have dirt on their tyres as they came back on. So the whole idea here is to try and push them a little bit out the way there as we continue on through. They're going to come back on, and there's that understeer. So all we can do is give them a bit of a bump draft right now. So we head down the hill and in towards the braking zone. They brake earlier just because of that dirt on their tyres, so good awareness from them. And we take full advantage of that and head up into P5. As you see, the Belgian driver going all sorts of rallycross there over the sausage and onto the grass, including us apparently on the exit. Chicken Angel gets a good run out of that corner then. And we're going to have a bit of a good race here with Chicken Angel as we head towards Banky Boy. Chicken Angel on the inside, so we keep it wide here. Looking for a good run out of Banky Boy. As you see, that's what we plan. Try and get that cut back. But heading up the hill, we don't quite get enough of a run here. And they're going to have the inside line, so it's better to back out of this. You see there, no grip here at all on the outside line. So we back out of that. Right, another day. And let's see if we can get up to P3 then as we fast forward a bit further here then. Through the double apex. Chicken Angel goes a bit deep then. Some contact up ahead between two Belgium drivers as we continue on out of this corner. I'm looking down the outside of Chicken Angel then as we head into the braking zone on the outside. Are we going to do this? Look at this side-by-side action. We managed to keep it there as we go into the brake zone. Chicken Angel just accelerates a bit more. Actually goes wide a bit. We're actually 3 wide on exit. Look at this. Unbelievable effort here. Unbelievable racing from all 3 drivers as we actually survived that 3 wide on exit. Back to 2 wide then on the inside of Chicken Angel. No chicken here. We absolutely went for it there as we go into Banky Boy and we get the job done. So on exit, we're side by side with Tattoo Stephen. I'm assuming you like tattoos, mate, as we head up the hill. Now, I don't have tattoos. I don't mind them, to be honest with you, but I have no tattoos. I don't plan on getting them there. Oh, we get a good run on Tattoo Stephen, though, in towards the right, then side by side. We have to lift a lot more here. We've got to give him room on the exit. Look at this. Unbelievable racing then, side by side. Chicken Angel looking down the middle. I'm going to be 3 wide into this corner. Tattoo Stephen gives me lots of room there. We then give Chicken Angel some room on the inside. Still side by side. Beautiful racing here. Beautiful stuff to be a part of as we go into the right there. Chicken Angel runs a bit wide, so I just take a little bit of the inside there. But unfortunately for me, that is going to be too much because I'm going to get given a 0.5 track limit penalty which I think is a bit harsh there. And you see somebody else up ahead has got that as well. As we head into the braking zone, Chicken Angel sends it there into... I can't really do much because the car's already transitioned into the corner. Chicken Angel avoids it as well. And we continue on racing. So good stuff here. The penalty line, if you're wondering, is there. But because we got it a bit too late in the lap, it's not going to make us take it until the next lap. So maybe we can get a run here on the Belgian driver because they've got to be deep at Banky Boy. And we're going to get on the inside now. We saw how well that worked earlier on then. So down the inside we go. Looking to get it done. Oh, it's so tight there. We do get it done indeed. Up into a P3 spot then as we go through the right-hander. And we are going to take the penalty on the next lap. But we're going to advance towards the last lap. We're going to give you a bit of a guide. So heading towards turn 1. On the right-hand side, you've got like the camera set up there, the frame. Just after that, you've got that gap in the trees that I've highlighted there. That is what I'm using. Brake as that hits the edge of your screen, okay? And stay in 4th gear for a little bit, okay? As you change gear, you'll have a bit of a weight transition. So I stay in 4th gear for a little bit, and then I downshift there. Notice I'm not trying to use all the revs there. Balancing the car through this corner. Use all the curb on the exit, and make sure you start turning and dab the brake as well before the double curb goes to a single curb that I've highlighted right there, okay? So you're braking and turning just before that hits the bottom of your screen, okay? And we'll should witness that any second now. There we go. Actually, I do it on it, but you should do it before because notice this, I missed the apex there. You want to get the wheel hooked on that inside curb. Through here, you can straddle the sausage there as we head over towards the right-hand side. Well, that's a new saying on this channel, isn't it? And as you head down the hill, then on the left-hand side, you have the bullet sign there, okay? The last bullet sign, as that gets towards the edge of your screen on the left-hand side, that is your brake marker. Again, we saw drifting here earlier on. You do have to be careful going into this corner, okay? So try and balance the car without downshifting too early. So I'm staying in 4th gear here, then 3rd gear there. Notice how much more stable it was. Still a bit of oversteer, but not quite as much. As the double curb goes to a single curb on the left-hand side, once again, that is your brake marker, okay? The really nice marker is then double to single, and you want to brake in a straight line for this corner. If you are remotely turning, as you saw with the Belgian driver earlier on, the car will just shift its weight and be quite horrible. Notice here, it's very stable. Get around the corner, plant your foot, all-wheel drive kicks in, and off you go. Rev the nuts out of this car as well as we head towards Banky Boy. On the left-hand side, you've got the barrier on the far left where it goes from dark to grey, basically where that tyre barrier is. That is your brake marker for Banky Boy. Now, Banky Boy is a 3rd gear corner. Stay out wide and try and come in for a real good cutback so you get good speed up the hill, okay? And that's what I'm going to try and do here. Notice I stay out wide later. I come in later and accelerate out. And I can keep my foot to the floor and rev it all the way to the brim there. Change gear as we head up the hill. On the left-hand side, we're going to go over that curb. Keep it as far left as possible. And then going in towards this right, you may want to lift a little bit. I'm going to try and do this flat. Do I make it? I do. That's one of those times where it does make it. I just hit the edge of the curb there. And that is it for race A. So an okay race. There will be some carnage here as well, especially that hairpin. So do be careful. That is it for race A. I've already given you the guide there within that race. Let's head to race B then, where we're at Dragontrail Seaside. And we're doing it in reverse. Now, if you can't already tell, in the background, we are in Group 3 machinery, and I chose the Toyota Supra. What exactly are we doing here? Well, we're racing 4 laps. It's a rolling start, but everyone's on the straight, and we're on racing medium tyres. And of course, Bop is on. Now, this reverse layout, I actually prefer over the forward layout because I feel it's got one of the best overtaking corners in the game on this layout. Let's jump to the race and let's have a look exactly what happened and the lap guide at the very end. Right, here we go then at the start. Who has picked the Supra? Quite a few people, including myself. We've got a Nissan in there, Lexus is in there as well, and I can tell you there's also an AMG. Right, if you're not subscribed already, please do subscribe. We are on the journey to 40k, and if you didn't see that like button as well, make sure you hit the like if you are enjoying this. Head down towards turn 1 then, you may have noticed I changed brake balance because you can change it this week in Daily Race B, and you also do it in C as well. We're through here, 2 TCR members just have a slight bit of contact there. I take full advantage of that and get past Shelty up into P11, and Karma just apologises there with the hazards, I think, a little bit, although I think that was just racing in my opinion as we head towards the chicane. Now, are you prepared for a fright? Because I certainly was to be came in now. I was not expecting that braking in the slightest. I was expecting a dab of the brakes, but hard braking. Well, it's a bit unusual because in that corner, it is just a lift. You'll see that in the track guide as well. So even the remote hard braking did scare life out of me. But I did survive as we carry on and continue on out of this corner. It looked like Shelty went a bit deep there behind. as we continue towards the S's. Then in we go. Looking down the inside. That is a popular move you can do. I backed out of it though. Karma did give me room there, so fair play to you. As we go into the right-hander then and continue on out of here. We're still in P11, but really good awareness from Karma. We advance to lap number 2 then. Only 4 laps in this one, so it is a short race to be honest with you. As we continue on out of there, and Karma got a bit sideways, so I'm thinking, okay, if I can get alongside here, then I can make it my corner. Unfortunately, slipstream, it does play a part there, so I'll back out of it. I would advise not going side by side into the chicane, and we're braking hard once again into this corner, so we do have to take it very carefully indeed. I'd say I'm used to going flat out in that corner, so you do have to be careful. That's a bit further on in the lap then. We've got Dino behind us as we go into the right-hander then. And we just defend that nicely as we go in to the left and then go into the right. You have to dab the brake a little bit. As we go into here, Dino just carries on going into me here. I actually get damage on the rear bumper, so I consider this a bit of a push to pass, to be honest with you. As we continue on, so I was flashing my lights a bit of it. I wasn't too happy with that one as we go into the left-hander. As I say, I got damaged, so it was clearly a big hit from behind. As we go in towards the right, though, here, the last corner, going to boot on out of here. And in the distance, unfortunately, Karma does spin there, so we're going to take P11 from Karma. That's unfortunate to see. The curbs are dangerous here with bottoming out, so you do have to be very careful. Going into turn 1, I nearly rear-ended Dino there. That was my fault completely. I do straight line the braking, though, knowing Dino was going to turn there, and we did survive the corner. But that was very close indeed. But we do survive it. We're going to head towards the chicane once again then. Hopefully we're not going to brake as hard this time as we go into here. So it's almost like left dab of the brake there. You see how much we catch them up and how much speed we could still have carried there. Braking into the chicane is very deadly. You do have to be careful. And you can see how much time we gained on Dino. So I'm going to go for my favorite move. This is my favorite overtaking spot in the game, or one of them at least, because you've got many lines you can take. And I take that inside line, get the job done there as we continue on out. Although Dino gets a good run out of that corner. Then we're going to be side by side heading towards the S's. But that overtaking spot there, I love it. It's a brilliant corner, that. One of my favorites in racing period, actually. As we go into the right then, Dino just gets it done around the outside. Brilliant stuff. Comes back across there. Have to back out of it a little bit. Go towards that left-hand side. And I wasn't expecting Dino to come over as much there. But even so, we continue on through. Dino unfortunately clips the curve there. I have to lift, and Dino goes for a spin. And Shelty's going to have a good run on me then as we head towards the left-hander. Shelty looking down the outside as we go into the left-hander. And continue on out of here. And we keep that position for now then. Again, be careful of those curbs. They are very deadly as we go through the left and head up towards the final corner, the final chicane on this circuit. So a very frantic race so far. Now, I have a feeling you will have frantic races consistently at this circuit. It's a very, very dangerous circuit. Oh, speaking of which, Hodgson's gone there. No, Hodgson. I'm assuming that was another bottoming out situation as we go into the left. Stone Ride there, otherwise known as Stony. It says a nickname. Goes a bit deep there on that left-hander. Very easy to do. So I know they've got dirt on their tyres in that AMG. I said there was one. There you can see it as we continue towards the S's then. So I'm looking towards that outside then. I'm going to try around the outside here. Let's see what we can do then as we go into here. We've just got an overlap then as we head into the left. Stony backs out of this end. Bit of contact there. Nothing major that. That's just a bit of an accident. Nothing major in the slightest as we were trying to take that race in line. But I was there. Another one bite to dust there with smoke at the end of the race. As we fast forward to the end, we finished at P7 in the end. I'd say a very frantic race, and I expect many, many, many frantic races this week. So do expect that as well. However, you can have some good racing, and it has my favourite corner on it, of course. So Beat the Meta will return on that circuit. Here we go with a lap guide. Then as you head towards turn 1 on the right-hand side, you're looking for the start of the curb there. You want to brake the second, the millisecond, the nanosecond that hits the bottom of your screen, okay? You really want to start braking. Now, the apex for this corner is a very late apex, okay? It's not an early apex. While you will be braking towards the corner, you don't want to hit the apex until very near the end. I don't even hit it there, but you want to clip the very end of that curve to get you round, okay? This is the fastest lap I did in the few laps I did for today's race B, so this is what I'm showing you. Heading in towards the chicane then, the start of the curve there on the right, it's just past the 100 board, okay? You just lift for this for the maximum lap time, okay? Just a slight lift. You can stay on the throttle just like 10%, you'll do even better. You aim for the left barrier, then you aim for the right barrier, and look how close you get. But notice no brake in there. 5th gear, through I go. You can carry so much speed through that corner. Lots of time to be gained there. As you go into this left-hander, okay, the double left, we're going to call this. Very nice corner. You want to brake in a straight line. So you want to aim towards the barrier here and brake in a straight line. If you stick on the outside, you'll do what Stoney did and actually run off the circuit. So turn a little bit and then go hard on the brakes, okay? Notice I'm heading now towards the outside of the corner. I come off the brakes as I start turning and then clip that curb there. Very hard corner to get right this, okay? Very hard corner. You need some good technique with your braking as you come off the brake to turn in towards the corner. So just be careful, okay? Now, as we head towards the S's, the 50 on the left-hand side is not a brake marker, it's a turn-in marker. Now, you can do this first one flat. You might want to lift a little bit, depending on the car, but this time I do it flat. Sometimes I'll lift it to get a better line for the left. Just try it out and see what fits best for you. Okay, as you go into here, notice I'm further left. You want to be a bit more in the middle, which is why I say maybe lifting might be a tiny bit better. On the left-hand side, you've got an orange barrier. That is what you're going to use as a bit of a brake marker. You're going to dab the brakes and try and slow the car down. You actually drop a gear here as well in most cars, okay? So you're going to hit the brakes, 4th gear, turn to the left. You want to stay as far left as possible, okay? And as that red curbing hits the edge of your screen, that is when you turn in. Now, sometimes you'll want to dab the brake depending on which line you're taking, and sometimes you can just lift and then go the second you touch the curb, okay? You're going to have to judge this. All the S's is about judgment and where you're placing the car. So I lift there a little bit. I'm going to clip the curb and full throttle off there I go. Be careful of the barrier on the exit. You will see some crashes there. I'm telling you now. Head towards this left-hander then. Just after the 100 board is the start of the curve there on the right-hand side. As that hits the edge of your screen, I'm braking a bit early here because it should be as it hits the bottom. Literally, as it does that, that's when you're going to hit the brakes. You want to stick wide for quite a while here. Don't turn in too early. Stay wide and then come in at the very end. Use all the curb. Be careful on exits. It will oversteer a lot when you're in second gear in a Supra, depending on the car, of course, as well. Heading up to the final corner then, another tricky corner to get right here. So you get over towards the right-hand side, and as you head in towards this braking zone, once again, we are using a curb, okay? As the curb hits the bottom of your screen, that is when you're going to want to brake. It's just after, really, rather than on it, like we have done for the previous ones. So as you do this, you're going to brake in a straight line and try and turn in as quick as you can then. So straight line, turn in on the apex that you can't see. Get your wheel hooked on that inside curb and then full throttle out of this corner as best as you can. Be careful when you do that though. There will be some oversteer, and that is a lap here of Dragontrail Seaside in reverse on those medium tyres. Race C then, and that's where we head to next. And we head to Le Mans. As you can see, we're in some Group C cars. How fun is this? You can pick any Group 1 car. The Group C cars are the fastest in a straight line, so they're probably the go-to cars this week. What exactly are we doing here? Well, we are doing 12 laps here. It's a rolling start, and you have to be careful there. Racing soft and medium tyres are both required, and it's times 6 tyre wear. Again, this race, okay, 12 laps. It's longer than half an hour. You can only do this once an hour, so do be careful with that. I chose the Sauber because it was strong last time. Let's jump to the race then, and let's have a look exactly what happens, because this one is an interesting one. Very interesting one indeed. So first up, what's interesting here? Lots of people picked the Sauber, a few Nissans in there as well as we get ready with the race. And as you can see here, just a terrible start really. Just a terrible place to do the start. But even so, we kick off. Traction control was on one, and here we go with the Hyundai. Another interesting choice there. Trying to go by here in flawed data. So I'm going to head towards turn 1 then. Obviously spread out because of where we started as we go into that braking zone then. The first time of 12. 12! A long old race this. Long one indeed. So leaving that corner there, we see a lot of side-by-side action up ahead. So we're back in the fight straight away, which is always good to see and feel and be a part of as we head into the left-hander. So I chose medium tyres first of all because I didn't know what the tyre wear was going to be like in this car. So we go through the right-hander. We've got Gr.C off there. That's unfortunate to see as we head into Tetra Rouge and continue on out there. So this was the first time we could see how cars reacted. So obviously with the Group C cars, like we call them, essentially the old Le Mans cars, what you have here is a delayed gear change, and you can see that now. Now the Nissan up ahead, much quicker than the Sauber in a straight line. The Nissan, the fastest of the Group 1 cars in a straight line as we head down in. Constant has a 5-second penalty, so Constant was involved in that. As we head into the braking zone though, I noticed I was going to hit people, so I aimed for that barrier to stop myself hitting people, and that is what I did there. And actually that helped massively in terms of avoiding Womble and Sheltie. In the Nissans, you brake earlier than the Sauber, and it's one of those where it was just a Constantina effect at the same time as this car being able to brake much later. If you're in one of the newer Group 1 cars, you'll have to be even more aware of that than I was. Now, you saw somebody was off there, so we take that position. And up ahead, Consta goes for a full-on spin. Now, we will have a look at that in the bloopers, because that one is a really interesting one indeed. But, hey, we get past Consta there. Now, Consta, actually, he's going to bump draft us here. Because he's got a 5-second penalty, he knows fighting is just going to waste a bit of time here. So Costa gives me a bit of bump draft as we go into Indianapolis then. And through the left we go. Got somebody else off there in the Sauber. I nearly understeered into them there as well when they came back on. Costa looking down that outside, but going to brake early and let's get out of that one. So we go to second gear here. I'd advise accelerating out of this corner on Arge in second gear for most people. It's the best way to do that corner. We advance to lap 2 then. We catch up to Sheltie in that Nissan. Hello, Sheltie. Nice to see you. We found you again. So for those that didn't know, we had lost Sheltie, found Sheltie. And now we've got the best one of all. TCR Shelty. Yeah, that's the good one. If you want to join TCR, do check out the description. So into the left we go then. You can see the differences in these two cars. We've got Ginger behind as well in the Sauber, which is what I'm in as well. So we go into the right-hander, and we just go a bit deep here. Have to really slow it up then. And I think they did. I think they went deep a bit behind as well here. Ginger catching up there. Going to go down that inside line as we head towards the braking zone. And as we go into here, this is where I judge what tyre somebody's on, because Ginger manages to brake and make the corner. So I know Ginger is probably on that softer tyre or compound of tyre. It feels like it at least anyway. We get a good exit though as we continue on out to there. So because I sort of worked that out, I was like, okay, I'll bump draft Ginger. But going into here, I just outbrake myself a little bit. Again, very easy to do at this circuit, but I managed to keep on. And again, I was aiming away from Ginger just to avoid actually impacting Ginger's race there. So once again, we'll advance further on towards the lap. Well, we're still on lap 2 actually, and towards our Narge. And Ginger just gets a bit of oversteer on exit. Again, easy to do in these cars. It's just the amount of power oversteer that you experience is nuts. Now, I wanted to get ahead of Ginger before the Porsche curves, essentially, just because I felt it would be better for me. So, a lap later, we're behind Shelty now for the Porsche curves. And you can see on the right side, we've got Morlock here, who's taking a penalty. So, I was like, okay, let's try and get past Morlock before the Porsche curves then. So Shelty does. And as we go into here, I brake in my normal place. Unfortunately, I just tapped Shelty, completely my mistake. So, I get over towards that left-hand side, make sure I stay behind Shelty. It's Shelty's position that, and I do apologise to Shelty as well in this video. I humbly apologise. I let Shelty stay in front of me all the time until I worked out he had, well, clean tyres. And it was that point here where I was like, well, now we are racing for position, so I will go for it. Because Shelty would have had dirty tyres all the way through the Porsche curves and then the left after. And then it should have been clear then for the chicane. Up ahead, we've got Ginger, who's off. No idea what happened to Ginger there as we continue on to lap number 6. And look at that tyre wear. It is down. But, and I was debating this, whether to stay out or come in. I decided to come in because I feel a one-stop is the best strategy here for this race. I'm telling you that right now. There are going to be people, and you're going to see this in this race, that do 2 stops. Consta is doing a 2-stop. Consta pitted lap 5 from the mediums onto the soft compound of tyre. Shark Javelin up ahead had a big issue at Indianapolis as we look to catch up. So you can see there they were cleaning their tyres because they had dirt on their tyres. But you can also see that the race was really spread out here. And you're going to experience that this week because not only are we going to have a race every hour, even though they start every half an hour, it's going to split the drivers across more lobbies essentially, because every half an hour you'll join the best lobby you can. Now you sort of halve the amount of drivers that are going to be in that split, so it spreads the driving out even more. So if you're struggling to get into top split, you may end up in top split this week. So yeah, if you want top split, now's the chance. Really, when you can only do one race every hour. Sure, it goes a bit deep here, so I try and cut back across. Unfortunately, I've got a 0.5 penalty. You see Constant in the pits again there to making that second stop. So we're going to take that penalty. And I want you to look on the left-hand side a little bit here. You can see that gap going up now, 32. Well, it's not going up actually, 32.2. Shark's coming at me here. I did try and stay ahead of Shark then for the Porsche curves as we head towards Porsche curves. And I tried to stay in 4th gear to avoid that gear shift delay, but Shark, brilliant job. You absolutely nailed that. Wobble Leader comes in the pits then, also doing a 2-stop. Shark comes in the pits, also doing a 2-stop strategy then. And we are now 34 seconds behind Danny, who is leading the way then as we go through the right-hander and continue on out. We advance to lap number 10. You see Danny come in. This is where I wanted to advance to. 36 seconds we are behind Danny doing the 2-stop, okay? Now, I stay out, and you can see my tyre wear is atrocious. This is lap 11. My left rear is already pretty much gone. My right rear is, you know, is very low. Concert has caught me up there, so it goes on past. So you're probably going, oh, Tidge, the 2-stop's better. But remember, Concert was ahead of me at this point. It was way ahead of me here as we advance further on in lap number 11 then. Going to head towards Indianapolis. And that left rear has completely gone. The right rear very close to going. As we go into here, the rear just steps out a little bit here. I'm looking to try and catch it. Fortunately, I do catch it quite well, to be honest with you, as I come back on circuit. And we've got it's Soggy Bottom Boys, isn't it? Or Bays, or whatever you were called there. Sorry, I don't know your nicknames. I've got the official PSN names there. Stater Mo's going past me here, the Dane, as we drop to P5. So we're 17 seconds behind Danny. That did cost us a fair bit of time. But again, I want you to focus on the left-hand side. We're only 25 seconds down on Danny, and Danny is doing the 2-stop. Which is why the 1-stop is the way to go. Womble's caught us up now. Womble's way ahead of us, also doing a 2-stop. Womble's just got past us on this last lap. Remember, if we didn't make that mistake, Womble probably isn't getting past us at this moment in time. Coming into here, I was a bit more cautious. I've got traction control on 1 as well. Do use traction control this week. Guys, there's no harm in using traction control or any driving aids. They're there for your help. So do use them where you can use them. I use traction control here. We do catch up to the Dane again, so we go into the left and then the right. Oh, a bit of oversteer there. We tried to get aggressive on exits, and we're going to lose a bit more time here. So down to 30.4 seconds, 34.4, 35. And we cross the line with a gap of 35.6. But remember, that's still smaller than when Danny went in the pits earlier. So a one stop is the way to go. I believe a lap 7 pit on the mediums and then a 5 on the softs is the best way to do it. Now, in terms of the best way to do the lap, well, this is for you then. As we head in towards turn 1 then, you're going to use the curb as it goes straight. Or it's just before that, in fact, okay? So as it goes straight. Now, if you're in one of the newer Group 1 cars, the total sign is where you're going to brake. But we're not in a newer car. We're in the Group C car. So just there is where you're going to brake, okay, as you go into here. So I say in second gear here. Now, you're going to have to be careful on exits, okay? Because you're going to have power oversteer in these kind of cars. So just be careful there as you continue on through. Now, I would advise staying in third gear rather than shifting to fourth. It's about the same speed, okay? So you'll just hit the rev limiter briefly. Then on the right-hand side, because it's actually change gear when you hit the brakes. On the right-hand side, you've got that pole there. It's the pole we always use here at Le Mans. And you're going to brake when that hits the edge of your screen, okay? So stay in third gear in the Sauber at least, because it's just better to. As you go into here, use all the curb on the inside. Be careful of these bollards on the right. They will slow you down and unstable the car. So just be careful. As you approach Tetra Rouge then, the blue marking on the right side, as that hits the edge of your screen, okay, that is when you're going to dab the brakes and turn in. I would advise staying in fourth gear for Tetra Rouge in the Sauber because you've got that gear shift delay. If you're in third and change to fourth, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have that delay and actually then fourth becomes quicker anyway. So just keep that in mind as we fast forward down the Mulsanne straight here. So, we're going to be looking on the left-hand side now for the brake markers. And on the left, you've got the end of that barrier there. There are also marshals there to help with that additional visibility of the barrier. So, the end of the barrier on the left-hand side, that is your brake marker for this corner in Group C. In your group, in the Group 1 cars, we'll call them, the newer cars, it's going to be towards the 50 board. So, just keep that in mind. As you come into here, second gear, use all the curb on the right and turn into the left. Make sure you keep at least 2 tyres on the inside of that curb. Accelerate out. Again, be careful on exit. There is some power oversteer there. But you want to actually take the chicanes slower and then be more aggressive on the exit to try and accelerate that bit quicker. As you hit the second chicane then, you're either going to use the 100 board and brake before it, or there's a tree on the right hand side, which is just before the 100. It actually becomes more prominent as you race, and it's on my visibility. As that hits the edge of your screen, you're going to brake. Again, use all the curb on the inside. Use the inside curb on the right as well. I don't on this lap, but it's better to do that. And again, be careful on exit from power oversteer. Okay. We're going to head towards the Mulsanne corner then, and this one, you're going to use the start of the curb on the right-hand side. As that hits the edge of your screen, that is your brake marker. If you are in a newer car, you're going to use as the curb sort of goes inwards, protrudes into the racetrack a bit further on, but brake early for Mulsanne, keep it safe, okay, don't pull a consta and absolutely spin it there. So I go first gear for this corner. I found second gear on exit really problematic in this car, so just be careful as we continue now towards Indianapolis. As you come into this corner, you're going to brake earlier than you realize, so obviously the end of the curb is there. You're looking for the end of the curb. You're braking before the end of the curb, okay, in these Group C cars. Group 1 cars, you're braking as it goes straight, but in this car, you're carrying so much speed, you're braking a bit early, okay? So before the end of the curb. Brake in a straight line as much as you can. Second gear and turn in. Clip the curb. Be careful on exit. You've noticed there I got a bit of oversteer as you head towards Arnage. For Arnage on the right side, you're looking for the last tree on the right that I've highlighted there. That is your brake marker. Now, it might be wise to brake to first gear and then shift to second. You can do that. But sometimes it may be worth just staying in second or just making sure the car stays stable. Remember, changing gear will adjust the balance of the car just that little bit. Okay, so we're in second gear here. Drop to first, up to second again, just to get that little bit of engine braking there. As we accelerate out, a bit more easier to accelerate on this corner than it is on Mulsanne corner. Head towards the Porsche curves, and on the left-hand side, you've got that dark green AstroTurfy, whatever you call it, there on the left-hand side. That is a brake marker for the Group C cars. Obviously, the more downforce a car has, the less you'll brake. Some cars you will just turn in. For this one, you're going to brake and drop to fourth gear. And you want to turn a little bit later than normal, because otherwise you end up doing this, where I touch the grass and then end up going a bit wide there on exit. Through here, you may need to lift a little bit there through that left-hander. And as you approach this right on the left-hand side, as the grass ends and goes to tarmac, you're going to want to brake and start to go to third gear in the Sauber. This is where you need to maintain a nice, tidy inside line in this car. It's where the most speed is, okay? So as you brake, you're going to maybe dab the brake in the corner, as you see I do there, trying to maintain towards that curb on the inside line. You want a very nice line for this left, okay, because it's a bit of an acceleration point. So as the corner goes straight, I've highlighted there, the white line goes straight, you're going to dab the brakes, turn in, or lift and turn in. It depends how you feel in terms of the car. I think I lift on this particular lap, but on other times I did brake a little bit. No, I do brake a little bit there. Use all the curb on the inside line and accelerate out. Okay, so we're going to head towards the final few corners then. It's a double chicane here. So on the right hand side, what we're looking for is the change in color. It goes from a very dark grey barrier to a lighter grey barrier, and it goes even lighter a bit later on if you're in one of the newer cars. We use the first part here, very dark grey to a darker to a slightly lighter grey there. On the right hand side, I've highlighted it there for you, and I'm going to hit the brakes and go to second gear. You want to be aggressive into this first part, okay? Get it turned to the road to the right hand side. Head towards that curb. Now, before that curb hits the edge or the end of your screen down at the bottom there, you should already be turning for the final corner here, and you should already be braking for the final corner as well. Not 100%, of course, because you can't turn and brake at the same time. Not 100% at least. So you can see there, 50% braking, turning in, trying to use all the curb there, trying to keep it stable on exit. Be careful on exit because of the oversteer, as you saw in the race. That's a lap guide of Le Mans in a nutshell in the Sauber. Let's jump to these bloopers then, where we start in race A. So I wanted to have a look what happened behind me into towards this hairpin. You notice a bit of carnage there, side by side. It was 3 wide at one point there as we head down the hill then. And we're on board the Italian here as we go in to the left, and through we go. Ooh, slight tap confusion on Leah there, and Hodgson just gets it all around under braking and heads to the left to Nadia. So yeah, but other than that, actually it was fairly clean in the grand scheme of it there, that corner, as we advance further on then, and we see Chicken Angel lap 5. Chicken Angel told me to have a look at this. It just looks like Daniel just edges a bit too much to the left to try and take a racing line there, pushes you into the barrier. So it's definitely Daniel's fault, but I don't think it was as intentional as I thought it would be when I went to look at it. Right, what happened to Strongmaker here? Strongmaker just gets it wrong on exit. You have to be careful in the Supra on exit. Second, third gear. There's a lot of power oversteer there. Here we have the, what I would call push to pass. Was it as bad as I thought it was? Coming into here, they're accelerating. They lift off a little bit. Still on the throttle there. Bit of a push to pass there from Dino. Don't agree with that one personally, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was because I still stayed on the track, but I did have to brake to avoid going into the grass there. So we advance a lap later where we were racing Dino again. We did have some good racing here with Dino as well. So obviously it was a mistake with that push to pass. It was just a bit frustrating at the time. Coming into here and the right-hander, we accelerate through the corner. Dino takes too much curve there. I lift off, go to the left to avoid Dino, and Dino heads to meet barrier. Heading towards the last lap then, what happened to Smoke, who we just passed here? And oh, there we go, bottoming out on the curb. Very common thing to happen here at Dragontrail Seaside. Don't do it. Avoid going all the way over that curb. It is not there for you to use. It's there to stop you using it. Right, what happened to Consta then? So we're going to go through the right here. Consta avoids, well, just slight tap there. Nothing major. Did try and avoid it as we go into the left then. Going to accelerate out of here. Slight tap between two cars there. And Fusion sort of lost it as Consta was there. And yeah, huge crash. But not Consta's fault in my opinion. But does get whacked with a huge 5-second penalty. So heading towards the first chicane here. You can see here, I brake where I tell you to brake here. But it's just that the Nissans have to brake earlier. So I was just approaching them too quick. And yeah, I think that was a good choice there for me to hit the barrier. On board No Man's Island then. No Man's Island did the exact same thing. This car obviously better than the Nissans and went to take avoiding actions. Fair play to you as well. Head towards Bullseye Corner. What happened to Consta? I don't know, other than hitting the handbrake, I guess. Maybe Consta can answer that question because that was a very odd spin. Wasn't quite sure, to be honest with you. The final incident to look at then was me hitting Shelty. So as we head towards here then, I braked just before the green stuff, which was early for me, but not early enough because I hit Shelty there. And again, you see I'm staying towards that left-hand side. Make sure Shelty gets going, and then I would stay behind Shelty all the way until the start-finish line because Shelty at the moment will have dirt on his tyres, and it's not fair for me to pass until the left-hander. Right, folks, that is going to be it in terms of this video. A big old video, this one. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Banger of Race C this week, and if you did enjoy it, give it a like. Subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content, and 2 videos to check out there. Thank you once again, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.